I'm shooting this video on Thanksgiving Day. I'm here in Arkansas in world's biggest gated community. It's actually not even a retirement community. It's just world's biggest gated community. It's near Hot Springs Village. It's where Bill Clinton was born, and they also have hot springs right down here in Arkansas. I want to tell you something on this Thanksgiving Day, and that is that you will never always be 100%. Now, I know you already know this, but especially on Thanksgiving, it's important to point that out because you're probably going to eat pie, pumpkin pie, all that, and gain some weight. But don't feel too bad afterwards. Most of you shouldn't feel too bad afterwards. The only people that are always 100% are robots, because everybody has a pendulum. And your pendulum, yours, swings differently than everybody else's. So if over here you're in amazing shape, then over here you are out of shape. Let's put it in a nice way. The trick is for you to keep your pendulum as small as possible, because nobody is always at 100%. That's a miserable way to live. Sometimes you gotta let off the gas, or you have different goals in life, or your schedule changes, priorities change, things happen, trauma, whatever. If your pendulum is anywhere from 90% to about 70%, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be free from a lot of ailments, a lot of diseases. You'll never have to take prescription medication. You'll be way better than the average American. If you look at this pendulum, right? You have super fit, not fit at all. On both sides of that spectrum, there are two types of people. The first type of person on the extreme side of out of shape are the minimizers. And the minimizers are people who do the least amount of effort required. Usually, those are the people who wait for things to happen. They make excuses. They wait for others to do the work for them. They put their hand out. They label themselves as a victim, etc., etc. Then, on the other side of that spectrum, you have the maximizers. Now, the maximizers are people who understand the law of diminishing returns. And that law basically states that the more progress you make, the more effort it's going to require to get the same amount of progress. If you're watching this video and you've been drinking Coca-Cola for, over 6 months, and you cut that out, simply by cutting that out, literally by cutting it out for a week, you will probably lose 3 to 5 pounds right away. Boom. Poof, gone. And then you will think, shoot, that's amazing. But of course, you're not going to lose 3 to 5 pounds all the time. But the law of diminishing returns is basically where if you put in 10 hours of work, you'll get 10 hours of progress at first. Then you put in another 10 hours of work, and you get 8 hours of progress back. Then you put in another 10 hours, you get 6 hours, etc., etc. All the way in fat loss terms and fitness terms. Let's say you want to get rid of that last 5 pounds, right? Or like the last little fluffiness, like you can grab a little bit of, like you just want to get rid of it. That's going to take probably just as much effort as you losing the first 30 pounds when you were over 200 pounds and you were overweight. You have to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? For instance, when I started Straight Up Fitness, I was an aerospace engineer in Irvine, and I actually had just gotten laid off. And then I decided to become a personal trainer at a big gym. But I told myself I will sacrifice everything in order to make this work. A lot of people will say that you should not go that route, that you should not sacrifice at all. Are they right? Are they wrong? No, they're not right. They're not wrong either. It's all a personal choice. The more you sacrifice, the faster your progress will come. However, if you are not willing to sacrifice certain things, for instance, in the most simplistic terms, your pastries that you eat 3 times a week, then yeah, your progress is going to be a whole lot slower, like a turtle. In the end of the day, especially here in Arkansas, we live in America and we have freedom for everyone. And it's a beautiful thing. The minimizers that I was telling you about earlier, the ones who wait for things to happen, more often than not, they have a little bit more of a negative attitude than the maximizers, because the maximizers, they live in abundance and they go after their goals and they're action takers, right? In society, it's totally fine for the minimizers to judge the maximizers. And nobody will even blink an eye on that. Like, that's fine, because they're victims and it wasn't their fault and they're out of shape and life dealt them the short straw. But it is absolutely not fine for the maximizers to judge the minimizers. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but it is something that you have to be aware of, because as you level up in life, as you start living in more and more abundance, you start waking up with more energy, you have better positive thoughts every single day. Overall, just the quality of your life keeps going up and up. The way I kind of see it is like you're climbing a mountain, and everybody who is not willing to climb that same mountain with you, or unable to, even though anybody can do whatever they want, those are the ones that are going to throw little pebbles at you at first. Those pebbles and rocks are going to hit you like your butt because you're climbing upwards, and they're not really going to hit you that hard because the pebbles go up. I hope you can visualize this because I'm holding the camera, but you're going up as well, so they're not really going to hurt you. Now, there's only really two things you can do. When you're climbing up and maybe you're looking down, you're taking a little break, you're seeing how far you've come, and somebody throws a rock at you or a pebble, and you get that pebble or rock, there's two things you can do. You can throw it back down, but if you throw it back down, you're all the way up there, that rock is gonna hit them super hard, because those people are already in a vulnerable position. Those people are already in the victim mentality, and that's the last thing they need. And that's only gonna cause even more animosity and hatred towards you high performer you. So the best thing you can do is, when you get that criticism, when you get those pebbles and rocks thrown at you from the people at the bottom of the mountain, you just literally like, you pick them up and you put them in your pocket right there, and you just keep climbing. And I know this is like a creative way of me saying, like, you know, haters, this and that. Another brutal honest truth though, if you don't have anybody throwing rocks at you, then you're probably not doing any climbing. So it's almost New Year's, so time to set some resolutions. But first, enjoy your Thanksgiving. I don't even know when I'm gonna post this video, but let me know if you like this video. Let me know in the comments below. All right, happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you guys soon.